Peggy 16.
Hi, I'm Mathieu.
Hi, I'm Alexis.
We are very pleased to announce our special RUSE multiplayer weekend to you. So the previous beta tests were huge successes because of all your support, because of all the players who played the beta test, and also because of all the feedbacks you gave to us. We also heard your request to play the game some more before the game release. So this is a special treat for all you fans of RUSE. You will be able to play RUSE in multiplayer for a 4-day weekend starting July 15. You will find new multiplayer maps, you will be able to face our hardest AI, and you will see lots of other improvements to the game. Bear in mind that what you will play is still just a fraction of the final game. So enjoy this weekend, check out the game, buzz around, tell your friends about it. We need your support. We are going to explain to you what has changed in the game following your feedback in the beta test. And to do that, I'm going to ask the help of Alexis, who is the mastermind behind RUSE.
I would like to thank all our loyal fans to have bring us so many feedbacks on the game. What we have done so far is we have worked on all of them, and some were very obvious because there were bugs in the game, problem in balancing, but some were, I would say, more exotic because we were not sure it was fitting exactly RUSE, and part of you in the community were thinking it's not the way RUSE goes. So for the most exotic ones, we've been following our intuition in trying to making RUSE the best strategy game experience.
So what it means is you will not find all your requests in the game once you play it, because it was too far away from the RUSE experience, or because we have more surprises to come. To continue, click on the parts on which you would like details. Let's start with the basics, but possibly the most important element of the game, selection and controls. During the beta test, we reported several issues while trying to select multiple units. One of the cases involved rectangle selection of units, and what we've done is improving it so that units are selected only when you release the mouse button. It doesn't seem as much, but it's going to improve much more the flow of the gameplay. We have also added the possibility to add a unit to a group using the Shift key.
We noticed also the difficulty to select a specific unit in a stack of units. So we decided to move the selection panel to the center of the screen to scale up its size in order that now it's so obvious that no one can miss it, and it just is much more easy to select a unit even if you have a huge stack of units. Another difficulty was the ability to select aircraft or ground units. So that's why we changed the priority of selection to make it just more simple now.
Many strategy players are used to play the game with a right-click mode. Although RUSE does not require it, we've applied lots of changes to this system. So if you play with the right mode click, now we have clearly separated left click for selecting units, right click for assigning orders. For instance, if you select a group of units, move around the ghost around the map and get over other units, the ghost is not going to stack anymore. So instead, if you now press left click, you're going to select these new units, or right click, you're going to rally the previous units to the new group. So it's much more clear now. Some of you asked for a control to chain orders. Actually, it exists already. It's the Shift key, which can be used to chain multiple orders. To avoid people missing some of these controls, we have added a special panel in the option of the game displaying all the commands, and you can access that anytime from the game menu. There were some requests from some specific commands, for instance, asking units to capture or destroy a building. There were also some other commands like holding fire or fully firing on enemy units. We have analyzed it, and we see no other way than adding sub-menus or specific displays icon. So we have chosen not to comply with these changes because they're too far away from the philosophy of RUSE, or because they would change the way we play RUSE. During the beta, you have reported that there were some improper behaviors when giving orders to groups of units. We have applied lots of fixes with group behavior. For instance, when you move a group, it's not going to preserve its integrity. The units are going to stand together. When they can, they're going to follow the same path and not disperse anymore and dispatch to alternate routes. And also, they're going to move at the same speed to preserve, again, the integrity of the group. You have also reported lots of bottleneck issues when groups were crossing bridges or city streets. We have vastly increased the speed of such crossing. Also, we have modified the way units form a front. So in the previous beta, it was like they were moving in a line, and now they have a very wide front, meaning that the units are going to offer much more firepower when they face the enemy units.
In some occasions, some of your unit were not complying the orders you gave to them. Let me give you an example. In a group, you had some tank destroyers and tanks, and you were asking them to attack infantry. The tank destroyers were not able to attack infantry, so they were just staying in position. Now they will be able to follow the group, so they stick together, which means that there are no units that are just standing still on the battlefield. Also, another thing that we've changed is the behavior of infantry or towed units when they are in combat. During the beta, those units were taking a lot of time to be able to take back their trucks, something like 15 seconds, and we changed it to 1 second, which make the game just go much more smoothly. Some of you request us to speed up the infantry on the roads. Actually, infantry on the roads goes twice faster. We believe that it's already the limit of the speed for the game balance, and also we don't want a game to be not realistic in the way trucks will use the road. Another thing also is that you've criticized is the auto-targeting system and the behavior of the airplanes. So we've made a lot of change, a lot of improvements in this particular domain. Now the system works, we think, perfectly. I engage you to check out Facebook to see the dev note that we've made. You will have a lot of information about how the aircraft system works and all their behavior details.
The next subject we want to discuss is game balance, which is both a simple and complex problem. It is simple because from the feedback we got from the high-ranking players in the beta test, well, it is our belief that there is no major balancing issue in the game. We have applied, of course, a lot of small changes, but there is no major issue and the main balance is already here in the game. It is also a complex problem because some beginner players were owned by average player, rushing them with artillery bombing, with paratrooper rushes or extensive use of administrating building to get loads of money. Actually, this is normal because RUSE is a very open game where you can develop any strategy you want from the start. But there is no silver bullet and every strategy can be easily countered in the game.
For example, regarding the artillery power, when your enemy is bombing you with a lot of artillery units, remember to use the camouflage ruse or the radio silence ruse because the artillery will not be able to bomb you again. Of course, if the enemy is bringing some recon, try to focus on destroying those units in order to stop his artillery. And remember one thing is artillery units cost a lot. So if the enemy has a lot of them, which it means that he invests a lot in those units. And usually those units are weak units, meaning that you will be able to destroy them with infantry, paratroopers or fighter bombers or stuff like this. So you can really retake the initiative by using those techniques.
Also, beginner players have been really impressed by Paratrooper Rush of the UK faction, which could in minutes take out their base and capture everything. So, of course, we have tuned down some of the powers of these paratrooper units, but it can be easily countered by deploying anti-air units, by using camouflage. Also, watch out for messages on the game. If you hear the enemy is building an airfield, then you know you can expect this kind of attack. But if you have the proper defenses, you're going to wipe out all the paratroopers. It will cost a lot of money and score to the enemy players, and you will be defended and have the resources to strike back at the enemy to make him pay back.
One thing regarding the infantry, well, some of you were telling us infantry is too powerful in the game. Yes, it is. When you put infantry into the forest or you put infantry in the cities, because they are very powerful at close range, but they are very weak when they are in open areas.
Finally, on 4 versus 4 games, you requested a limitation to the number of administrative buildings which can be deployed, because otherwise this would make people generate loads of money and produce lots of units. Again, RUSE is an open game, and you are free to develop any strategy you want, even though that one is not a very clever one, because administrative buildings are very fragile. They can be easily destroyed by a single bombing run from your bombers. Of course, the enemy could use defenses to protect his administrative building, but then it's going to cost him a lot of time and money.
You can have access to all the details of all the balancing that we've made on the forum.
When it comes to multiplayer connectivity and interfaces, we have followed the same philosophy of improving the existing rather than reinventing everything. So this is what we're going to explain right now. When you play the beta, some of you were experienced lagging for some players who ruined the experience, and also it was difficult to know what was going on when there was an issue. So this is what we have tried to improve for this version.
So the first thing we've made is an automatic kicking system, which is like an automatic voting system of who is making the game lagging. This means that every player is granted with a grace period, and this period will be consumed as the system determines which is the player who is making the game lagging. And this will result in an automatic kick of the game. The second thing was the NAT connectivity problems that some of you had. So we've clarified which are the ports that you need to open to play properly. Another element is some of you could experience having bad pings. So now the game displays in a proper way the pings of every player at the start of the game and during the game. Finally, one of the issues that you were experiencing during the beta was you were starting the game and some of you were stuck in the game. Now we have a loading screen when you have all information of all the players and in which state they are, and when everybody is ready, then the game starts, which makes it much more easy to play.
You also asked for an option to mute the voice over IP. Actually, you can simply do that by pressing Shift-Tab in Steam to mute the volume. Since we sit on top of the Steam API, we prefer to use the existing system rather than reinventing the wheel.
A critical thing you were asking from us is the possibility to filtering the game which you want to join. So we've added a way to sort all the games by players, by level, by maps, in order to achieve this. Also, you were asking for having the possibility to browse by player in the leaderboard. We will add later on this possibility on a website. Something that we are not going to add, unfortunately, is the possibility to be observer in the game, because we think that this could lead to bad performances sometimes, and also this could lead to cheating.
In-game communications in RUSE is very important because games can be pretty intense. So the thing is, we have fixed some of the bugs you notified to us, like the chat lines which were not appearing correctly in the game. And also now you can even have chats with the players in the same screen at the end of the session, and you're notified when someone is leaving the game. Some of the players were disappointed by our replay system when they tested it while the beta was active. Actually, these were well-founded criticism because the system had several bugs. I just want to advocate the fact that the game was not in a final state at that time, so these kind of things happen.
Yes, the good news is now the replay system is working properly. And also you've asked us to have the possibility to rename your replays and to save them somewhere. Actually, this is something that we are doing. You will not be able to see it during the weekend multiplayer, but we have some information to share with you about all this aspect later on.
The other thing you asked about the replay system is the ability to rewind back in time. So just to get a bit technical, we use a deterministic system in the game based from a starting situation, and then we evolve the simulation based on pre-recorded user commands. So the advantage of this system is that replay files are almost weightless and can be easily exchanged on the web. But with this system, alas, you cannot rewind back in time. We would like to conclude with all the great ideas you proposed on the forums. Although, as we stated before, we could not incorporate everything because it would take us too far away from the RUSE experience.
For example, you talked about the ability to control the money truck flow coming from your supply depot, to stop them or to order them to use an alternative road. We think this makes sense. It's a tactical refinement, obviously. But the problem is this will ask to make some complex interface changes, and also this will change the economic system in the game. So by now we think it's too risky to make this development. Another thing you were talking about is also the ability to destroy your own building to prevent them from being captured by the enemy. This is a cool feature, but again, it's something that requires a lot of change, and we believe that it will reduce the interest of capturing a building in the game.
You also proposed a new set of exotic ruses, like faking a supply line, or deploying partisans, or using disguise on your units. What is fun is actually we've designed the same kind of ruses, we've tried them, but it didn't work in all compartments of the game. So what we did was we finished 10 ruses which worked in all situations, and we're going to deliver the game with that. I would like to prevent disappointment from your side. Those were great ideas, but they didn't make it to the game as it's going to be released. But this is not the end, and we have other surprises to reveal, and your ideas may be the seeds of the future developments of RUSE. So thank you for your time and attention. I hope you have loads of fun playing the free multiplayer weekend. See you soon.
Thanks a lot for supporting RUSE, and hope to see you on the battlefield.